and you're coming to this YouTube channel, please press the like and subscribe button with the bell notification that is on your screen. Now, we're starting today on day 4. It's called Learn to Think Constructively. And it is, and under it, it has a small sentence that says, it is necessary that you think in a constructive manner. Now, this is very, very important because life is not destructive. We may see things what we think are destructive, but actually it's just a new creation. So everything is a new creation, everything is changing. The universe has a law that matter cannot be created or destroyed. It can only be changed. But what we're doing in our circumstances and in our life, we are just changing circumstances and we're changing matter. How do we change matter? We change matter by changing our thinking. The universe says nothing is created or destroyed. It is just changed. I'm reading the second paragraph. Insomuch as your mind is an expression and activity of the one mind, it would stand to reason that it is also creative. Creative not on a cosmic scale, but in your own life and experience. Now, this is an important part of this paragraph. Your thinking determines your experience. In fact, your thoughts become the conditions and situations you encounter in your daily living. I'm going to reiterate that again. It says that your thinking determines your experience. So if that is true, I want you to suspend all belief on that, because some people will fight with that thought. But if that is true, then that means I have to police how I'm thinking. If my thoughts becomes the conditions and situations in my life, what am I thinking every single day? If you find yourself prone to argue with this idea, just relax for a while. The proof is in the pudding. Let me go down. There's a paragraph that says, thoughts are things. The second paragraph says, there's a problem that arises. If the nature of mind is to be constructive and creative as a result of the process of its thought, how constructive and beneficial is your creative thoughts? So every thought that you have is a creative action. There is no thought that's destructive. You're just creating something that doesn't benefit you. Now, important thing is this. This is why, if you think about it, anybody ever have had a drink and drank a little bit too much and got a little bit too tipsy? I've done that. There's a reason why they don't allow you to drive or do heavy machinery. Because your thinking is not right. Your thinking is not right, so your thinking is going to cause you to do something that's going to cause harm. Anything that clouds your thinking, anything that causes you not to think in a constructive manner, that is what's hurting you in your life. Now, think about this. I covered liquor. Some people may say drugs. But what else in your life, I want you to think about it, and you should put that in your book, would cause you to think in a way that is not beneficial. Can the programs that you watch on television do that? Yeah. Can the music that you listen to, can it do that? Can the people that you are around cause you to change the way you're thinking? It is very, very important, because you are the sum total of the 10 people that you associate with. Think about this. You should write that in your notes in your book. the thinking patterns of the 10 people that you're closest to. Or you can go on your phone like everyone has on the commercial, your faves. Who do you spend an hour on the phone with? Who is your favorite? Who do you talk with? Those people are also molding the way you think. Let me move on. To produce a better life and experience for you, think this over carefully. To what extent is your thinking positive or negative? Constructive or destructive? Beneficial or detrimental, sorry. In other words, just what are you doing to yourself? So there is nothing in the universe, there's nothing in the world that's doing anything to you. You are doing it to yourself. If you are in a toxic relationship, you can choose to leave it. If you have a job you hate, you can choose to leave it. People do that all the time. But for some reason, people just stay in that negative muck until the pain is too much. Let me go on. The next paragraph starts out, thinking can be harmful. Your thinking is what you are experiencing in your health, affairs, and relationship. Wait a minute. Stop the presses. A person might say, wait a minute, I'm not sick because of my thinking. I'm not poor, I'm just poor because of my conditions. I was born in a poor country, my family didn't have money. But what Kinner is saying here is that your thinking is what you're experiencing in your health, affairs, and relationship. Okay. Constructive thinking. Creating good in your life and experiencing rather than wishing things were better and thinking constantly about how bad they are. So this is the pattern of the world. I'm going to read that again. The purpose of the mental diet is to get you started to think in a constructive manner. Creating good in your life and experience rather than wishing things were better. This is very important. This is why we do a mental diet. Because once we recognize that our thinking is creating our life, then we focus for the 30 days on everything we're thinking about. What people generally do, they're in a bad situation that they don't like, some situation that's uncomfortable, and they wish for something new. And all they do is complain about the situation that they're in. And what we're saying in here is that your thinking is what is going to take you from the situation that you're in into what you are wishing for. Okay, let me go on. You can start to do this now. You do not need to wait for something big to come along, some crisis or perplexing problem. You think all the time. You are doing things all the time. Tie the two things together. You're thinking and you're doing. You're doing things, you're thinking things all the time. Right now we're in a situation, we have a pandemic around the world. And one of the things that was great about being in the middle of the 30-day mental diet, it is tempting to go towards the news and see what's happening in the world. And what we're saying is, no, stop. Leave those things outside and don't let them come within your thinking, because if it comes within your thinking, then it comes within your world. So this is very, very important. Even though the temptation is there, say, come read about this, read about this person that got sick, read about this thing that happened. No, what we're saying is, no, focus your mind on what you want. and push out the world. We're going to move on to the next chapter. We're going to number 5, day 5. Life is for you. And below it, it says, live life, don't fight it. Interesting. Very, very interesting. There's one thing you can be most certain of, and that is that the law, in some form or another, guides and governs every aspect of your experience, just as it does everything else in the universe. Fundamentally, the universe operates as a unity, not a chaos. And the laws that establish and maintain this unity are not in conflict with one another. God runs the universe by law. The law of electricity is why we have lights and why we can do what we're doing with the microphone, with the video right now, because somebody took the time and studied these laws. But every single aspect of the universe is run by some law. And the chief law is the law of mind and the law of thinking. I'm moving to the next, the next page, 3rd paragraph. Remember that law is impersonal. It is never concerned about whether or not you recognize it, or at least be interested in how you use it. So this is interesting. So God has created in the universe. He has given you a law, and the law is impersonal. If the baby crawls to the ledge of the window, the child will fall because the law is already there. This is important. Everything we see in our life, if we are experiencing pain, go back to the basic law and say, what is it that's causing me this pain? Okay, so I might be a little bit overweight, and I don't like the way I look. I want a six-pack abs, or I want to look a little bit better. Does anything change if I sit and complain about it? No. Absolutely not. Does anything change if I wish I had a six-pack ab? But does anything change if I say, this is what I'm going to do? So I see myself healthier. So when I see myself healthier, I say I'm going to make healthier choices. Maybe I might get up and go walking. Maybe I might join a Pilates class. Maybe I might decide to go jogging. Maybe I become a vegan. I know, maybe we'll do something like that. These are the things that I have to embrace in my mind. Now, I know you've seen people do this. Eat a double cheeseburger with bacon and drink a Diet Coke. And the reason why is because they're on a diet. And as I say this, we always we laugh because we say that is ridiculous. But this is what it's almost like, God sits in the universe and laughs at us sometimes when we expect something and we're doing something totally different. Think about you if you're young and you're starting out. I want you to think about this. If you decide one day, you know what? I want to be an attorney. I want to be a commodities trader. I want to be a real estate mogul. I don't know how to start this thing. So what do? I decide first that I want this thing. in my mind. And then I seek out other people that does the same thing. Maybe they have written books. Maybe they have videos there. Maybe they even have a class. Maybe I say, okay, I want to learn commercial real estate. I want to be the next real estate mogul in New York City. So first thing I'm going to do is get a job at a real estate office and understand how this works. The basics. If I want to be in shape, maybe I'll take on a trainer. And the trainer will say to me, well, yes, I understand what you're doing, but you need to do this, this, and this. Because the trainer thinks differently than how you're thinking. The people in the real estate office or the traders or the business people, they think differently. So now that you're associating yourself with them, you start to take on their thinking patterns. I said earlier, you are the sum total of the 10 closest people to you. This is very important, and you should mark that. Okay, let me move on, because my time runs low. The universe does not have favorites. Any law in any sphere of activity improperly used will bring improper results. In the physical world, scientists are able to avail themselves to the power of nature only when they are able to ascertain the laws of its action and properly use them. In the book of Proverbs, Solomon wrote that it is the glory of, I want to get this right. It is the glory of God to hide a thing, and the crowning of kings to search it out. So God has hidden in the universe all his laws, in everything, in the plants, in the oceans, in the air, all the laws. And it says that when men search out God's law, they receive glory. Now, how do you know that? There was a time a man stood and looked at birds and envied them. Said, you know what, I want to fly just like the bird. He had to search out the laws of aerodynamics. And once he learned the laws of aerodynamics, he was able to fly like a bird. The great things about that is that not only did man fly planes like a bird, but he said, you know what? I'm going to fly better than the bird, because I'm going to make my birds move at the speed of sound. My birds will take me into outer space. That is the crowning of kings. And people receive glory for searching out those things. So every little thing that's discovered, whether it be in medical science or any engineering, that is men searching out the laws of the universe so that they will receive glory here on earth. So I want you to think about that very, 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 very carefully. Your ability to direct this action resides in the nature of your God-given creative power of your own thought. Your ability to direct the action resides in the nature of your God-given creative power of your own thought. Stop battling life. Stop fighting against life. And I want you to stop feeling that everything is against you, and become aware of the fact that the only thing against you is your own thinking. Once you realize that, you'll start to cooperate with the great law of the universe. The pattern of your thinking, you will be able to make, by changing the pattern of your thinking, you'll be able to make your life a joyous adventure, and in which you will encounter only good. Now, let me summarize here. I'm going to go down. Regardless of how much misdirection you may have given the law in the past, it is never too late to start to use it in a new and better way. The law only knows to act, to respond to your thought. So as soon as you change your pattern of thought, the law of the universe can only react to it. So if you're receiving the same thing over and over, you have not changed the pattern of your thought. Because the universe only reacts to your thoughts. So that means your thoughts are creative, and the universe reacts to your thoughts. Let me move down to the diet. If you turn to the diet on day 5, I'm going to read it to conclude. Life is for me now and always. Let me just say one thing, very important, before I go into diet. The purpose of the diet is what we call an affirmation. There are nuggets of truth and nuggets of creative truth in the diets. When you do the diets, if there's something that pertains to your life, whether it be a paragraph, a sentence, you should pull it out and put it with your daily affirmations and your daily visualizations and meditations. The reason why you do this is because you're creating your life, number one, but number two, that these words here are universal. The universe is only going to react to the words that you put out. That's it. Okay, let me go on. Life is for me now and always. It created me for itself. The creative activity of the universe is for me, as I now come to realize that there is nothing against me except my own ignorance or misunderstanding of the nature of reality. I cease trying to change God, to revise the law of the universe. I stop battling life, conditions, and situation. I no longer attempt to change ultimate reality and the way it works. There is no God, devil, or evil that desires my downfall. I know that when things are other than they should be, they could have occurred only through my misuse and misdirection of the law of mind. Very important. Life does not limit itself. I cease limiting myself. I am no longer my own worst enemy, for I now let my thoughts rest clearly and definitely on the fact that God is good and that my life is filled only with good as I mentally accept it. In my experience, all limitations and barriers are removed, and I now avail myself to the infinite creative power of mind, the creative power of my thought to make my experience in life and all I desire them to be. I now release all ideas and concepts that are detrimental to my good and replace them with beneficial ones, through which the action of the law of mind creates anew for me a life that is more worth living. And with that, we're going to conclude day 5 of our 30-day mental diet. Please tune in again for our 30-day mental diet. Please like and subscribe the video and put the bell and press the little bell icon there so you can notify when the videos are up again. Thank you so much.